Hi, I'm Wendy Harriet and I'm married to Andre Harriet.
And I'm Andre Harriet, and I'm married to Wendy Harriet, and together we are the Harriets. And our podcast is called At Home with the Harriets. And the aim of our podcast is to just give you some insight into who we are as a family, who we are as a couple,
Yep. Who we are as individuals.
who we are as individuals.
Yeah.
'Cause that is so important. The individuals make the whole,
Yes.
and the whole makes the individual.
Nice. I like
I
that.
like that because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
There's just, us together helps the individual to be stronger.
Yeah.
So that's who we are, and we're looking forward to taking you on this journey. We've done some teasers, and people have loved our initial snippets that we've put out.
They've been asking for more.
They've been asking
and
for
This
more.
is the more. We're here now.
This is the more.
Yeah, we've
and
taken
will
it in
grow.
stages.
Yeah.
I would say we started at the Soho House with a little podcast there, 15-minute, and then we moved to our own house.
Yeah.
And we were doing some there with At Home with the Harriets, and then to come into the studio now is a big another
Step up, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you at the end of this today what we're going to be doing. But yeah, there's more. So how do we get to 21 years, Wendy? How do we
Well,
get to 21 years? So here we are at home with the Harriets. This is our podcast. Welcome to the Harriet family. 21 years married.
21 years.
And we have decided to do a podcast because so many people around us, like our immediate friends or family or the wider networks, always say to us, how do you get to 21 years? And we always say we meet people who are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years
And
married.
younger in their 20s as well.
No, but I'm saying they've been married for
Oh, right,
70
okay.
years,
Sorry.
30 years, 50
Yeah.
years.
Correct.
And we're like, well, how do they do it? So we just think it'd be good just to share and give some ideas about what we do, and also just to bring you more into our life.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that this is really a monumental moment, I'm going to say. I hope that's the right terminology to use, because this has been a vision that is coming to pass on this very day, this beginning. This started and has been an idea that is finally manifesting. And I say that, as you said as well, Andre, that we're always consistently asked how we make it work. How did we get together? What's our story? How many years have we been married? Because we seem still so in love. And what's the secret? And I've wanted to do it. It's taken you a while to come on board. And now we're both on the same page. Now we're both on the same page. I just think, I just want to take this moment to really acknowledge that. And I'm really grateful that we're doing this, because I just hope to be an inspiration to different people from all walks of life, whether they're married, whether they're engaged, whether they're single, fabulous and single, as we always like to say. I just hope that from our story that we're able to share our love, our journey, things that have happened and occurred to us, and how we've come out the other side.
Yeah.
Which that's the foundation of At Home with the Harriets for us.
The highs,
Yeah.
the lows,
Yes.
the
lows.
challenges.
Yeah.
But also, how do you make this work? Because you're, right now as we speak, you are appearing in a pantomime in Coventry.
Yes.
And that's, you messaged me yesterday to say you'd done 10 shows in a week.
10 shows in a week.
And you were
And I'm up to 32 shows.
32 shows since you've started.
Yeah.
And we've still got the best part of another 3 weeks before you stop.
Yeah, another we're only halfway.
So people say, how do you do the panto?
Yeah.
How do you maintain the marriage? How do you make sure that your 15-year-old daughter is still, emotionally, psychologically stable in order for you to be doing that? How do you then go off and do shows with, the band? How do you then, run your business as a consultant? How do you do all these things? And we're just like, by God's grace.
I say teenage, but we started initially dating. I was 18. Andre was 16. Yes, I know. He asked me out when we were young. There's a story to that, where we were at college. We both attended the Brit School. And there was a situation where we were both in the classroom at the same time, amongst, a class session going on. And the window was open, and it was a bit cold and a bit chilly. And I think you went to close it. What happened? I can't.
It's close or open. It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
one of
the
them.
two.
I know,
I
it's
either
one
went
of the
to
two.
close it because it was too cold,
Yeah.
or I went to open it because it was too warm. And you were saying it's,
Whatever the opposite
it was one. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
but
one or
whatever
the
it
other.
was, the window was an issue.
It was an issue.
Yeah.
And I said to him, do you mind, whatever the issue was, we can't, fully decide whether it was cold or hot.
Yeah.
But whatever the issue was, it evolved, and we had a discussion about it there. Andre, at the time, he was younger than me, but it was just that moment, that initial connection that we had. And I remember it as in your smile, you flashed a smile. We were, how can I put it? We were different people, I think, in terms of, I remember obviously how you spoke and how I spoke. And it was just a moment, but I remember it so clearly, as do you.
Yeah. No, I do. And the thing that I remember, which is really important, is how you're raised.
Yes.
Prepares you for this moment.
Very true.
Because however you were raised at home and however I was raised at home, when we first connected, there was something that we said, you know, you're different.
Yeah.
You're a different type of woman. You're a different type of, well, I was a child.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 16-year-old child. You were just
Don't say it like that, child.
No, just legally. But I was
Yeah,
16
very
and
true.
you were 18, but we were different. So the way that I had been raised, the maturity that I came with, came from a lot of responsibility at a young age.
Yeah, that's very true.
So when I met you as an 18-year-old,
yes,
you were like, well, you don't seem 16.
Yeah.
And then when I met you as an 18-year-old, you were different, because I always remember there were people who were interested in you in college.
Well, we always say that, don't we?
Yeah.
At college, you were the guy that the girls wanted to be with.
Some.
And I was some.
Yeah,
But we know it was that.
Yeah.
And then I was the girl that some of the guys wanted to be with.
Yeah.
So for us to have met at that stage,
Yeah.
I'd already started college being like, I'm not going to date anyone. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And so that I had already had my focus, and my mindset was to, you know, really focus whilst I was at the Brit School and just focus on my dreams and goals and what I wanted to achieve. So when we met and we connected, I was like, it did catch me by surprise, because I wasn't expecting anything like that to happen.
But go back to the point of how we're raised.
Yes.
Tell me who you were listening to musically at the age of 18.
So at the age of 18, from a young age, I was both of my uncles had a sound system, so they were playing lots of, like, you know, reggae, R&B, soul classics. I grew up on a lot of that and hearing a lot of that from them.
Yeah.
So those and beautiful soul music as well. Like that was quality, emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
It had an impact. It had feelings. So I knew about those, you know, what those kind of songs meant to me.
Yeah.
And then a major thing for me was growing up in a household where my mum and dad were married.
Yes.
And they were married for 33 years. Sadly, we lost my dad 8 years ago, but I'd always had that stability in the home of a mum and dad, but not just a mum and dad. They were in love. They were together. They were a team.
Yeah.
And, you know, out of that as well, my brother and sister. So that was my family unit for me.
Yeah.
So I'd also seen and knew that I always wanted that.
Yeah.
I gravitated towards that.
Yeah.
And so when I was at school, I wasn't that girl that was, my mindset was never like, I'm going to date lots of guys, I'm going to do this, and it never was that, because I always, my initial mind, how I thought about things was, I want to be married one day, I want to be a wife one day, I want to be a mother one day.
Yeah.
Those were kind of like my goals aside of career.
And so emotionally intelligent, the music that you were being raised around, the songs that, you know, spoke about relationships and people who'd experienced heartbreak, but then also what expectations should be, right?
Yeah.
Then you got a mum and dad in the house who are showing you as role models what it is to be.
Yeah, that takes a team.
Takes a team.
Yeah.
I was raised in a single parent home.
Yeah.
So that gave me the ability to, I think, to understand what I would like in the future and what children what children need in terms of stability.
Yeah.
Lots of responsibility I was raised with from a very young age. So it meant by the time that I met you, I think I knew what a woman, the type of woman that I wanted to be around, who she should be, how she managed herself around other men, around other boys, how she managed herself with business, how she managed herself in education. I saw all those things.
Yeah, qualities.
Those qualities that, if you think about the parallels of what you were being raised on musically and what you were being shown as role models, you were prepared for that time. Yeah.
I also remember when the first thing of going home to my parents and saying, oh, you know, I'd like to introduce him to you and to come round. And I always remember this scene of my mum. We were waiting for you to come round, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous for my parents to meet you.
Yeah.
And anyway, you turned up, and how you used to wear your hair then, it was shaved round the sides.
Yeah.
And then you used to have like plaits
But that's all cane row on the top.
Yeah, cane row on the top.
Yeah.
And I remember the doorbell going. I remember thinking, oh my God, he's coming, he's coming. Well, you know, what's going to happen? How's it going to be? And I was really nervous. And my mum was in the kitchen and she was washing up. And my dad was somewhere in the house. And the doorbell went and my dad was like, it's going to happen now. Anyway, I remember opening the door because it was like a double fronted, like, so in terms of you open the first door, then you get the porch door.
Yeah.
And you were standing there. And I remember looking through the door thinking, oh my God, he looks about 12.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that because you'd had a fresh shave. You'd had your braids freshly done. You were wearing a blazer on the top and some other top. You did come fresh,
but I looked 12.
But you looked about 12.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately that's all my mum was going to see. I just knew it because some of my cousins were the same age. So because I'd already told her your age and she was a bit like 16, like Wendy, come on. Like, why is he 16? He's the same age as your cousins. Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, no, Mum, honestly, wait till you meet him and when he speaks and how he carries himself. Anyway, Dad was more open at first and opened the door. My mum was in the kitchen. I was thinking, oh my gosh. Anyway, introduced you and you came in the living room. And do you know, from the beginning of even introducing you to my parents, you know, you had the handshake. Do you remember that?
Well,
from the beginning, you were like, hello, lovely to meet you, like handshake, eye contact, really polite.
Yeah.
And I knew my dad was impressed immediately, but I knew my mum, it was going to take a while for her to warm up because all she was seeing is 16. Oh my God, he's 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you feel in that moment?
Well, welcomed.
Yes.
I definitely, I'm going to be really honest. I cannot go back to the day.
Yeah.
But I remember feeling welcomed because I didn't leave there going, this is going to be a problem. So I felt welcomed and again, prepared for that moment.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about, you know, meeting parents, the initial interaction is so important for a father to be able to assess who his daughter's brought home.
Yeah. Well, even that we thought on that level at that time.
But we can say this now because we have our own daughter. But as a man, you want to see how's this boy going to step? How's he coming? And I think just the handshake and stuff, that's stuff we've been doing. I had learned from a young age about how to respect people who were older or respect people who were new.
I felt comfortable and you also knew how to hold a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this and that comes from both of us. But you and I in performing arts, we've had auditions, we've raised in homes where we were taught how to speak properly.
Yeah, I know, but I did remember you were a bit more street than me. You were way more street than me.
For sure.
But that's what I kind of loved.
I think I'm going to remove the word street and I think I'm going to say that I had ingested the urbanized way of...
That's because don't you dare now.
I was a teenager in it, so I was around
you
guys,
were,
and
but
it was very much.
You still had like all the slang and the way about you, but it wasn't to. And this is no discredit to anyone else.
Nope.
It was you had that edge because same as me, very similar to me. You were raised with. I was always said, just keep your slang to your friends. But make sure that when you're having a conversation that you can hold your own.
So we call it being a chameleon.
Yeah.
And
we were both raised like that.
That terminology came to us years later.
Yeah.
But it was the ability to be able to move in different spaces.
Yes.
And to this day, you know, we can move in different spaces and depending on who I'm talking to, the accent may change, some words may get dropped, etc. But when I was with you, I could talk the roughest. But when I was in front of your mum and dad.
But even with that though, Dre, it wasn't rough.
It wasn't wicked. It was just youth culture.
Yeah.
But it wasn't wicked and offensive.
No, and it was still like very fresh. Whereas I never felt that I spoke the same as a lot of my peers. So even from secondary school, they used to call me, I had a little nickname.
Yeah. You ain't going to get to that, but yeah.
I had a nickname because I just didn't speak like the other girls. I didn't sound like them. And that was because at home, very much so,
you were told.
I was told by my parents, you know, you must speak properly. You must pronounce your T's. You must, you know, eloquence is a big thing. Say what you like when you're outside of the house, but when you're inside the house and you're speaking. So I always had that at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But I found it very interesting to be at college with you and hearing you speak for the first time. I do remember it and thinking, oh my God, like, why is he speaking like this? But also being intrigued and interested in it, you know, like, because I was like, oh wow, like, it's not saying like you're some alien species.
No, but here's a point though. The way that you start out is not necessarily the way that you're going to finish or the way that you're going to start to move in the future. So people look for relationships that are ready made. The person is perfect.
Yeah.
And if you think about how we started out, it was a work in progress.
Yeah.